A very warm welcome to all the students. Today we are beginning with a very important automata which is the start of the fourth unit. It's called as Turing machine. Now in the previous units, that is unit 3, unit 2 and unit 1, we have come across finite automatas for regular languages. We have come across push down automatas for context-free languages. Now both these PDAs and finite automatas, they have shortcomings. That is, they do not recognize all kind of languages. Okay, we have seen pumping lemma for regular languages. We have seen pumping lemma for context-free languages. Pumping lemma for context-free language tells you that a given language is not context-free. So it is neither context-free, okay, nor it is regular. Then what are the other types of languages, right? So Turing machine is basically called as, it is something like, father of all the other machines. That means it is superset of all the other machines like PDAs, finite automatas and so on. Now the shortcomings of this finite automata is that finite automata has no auxiliary memory. So it could recognize only few restricted number of languages. They were called as regular language. Now when you consider push down automata, this push down automata has an infinite but a restricted memory. Okay. Now what memory it uses? We have already seen it uses stack data structure, which is first in last out, or we also call it as last in first out data structure. And since the access to this stack is limited, PDA also is not able to recognize certain languages. In 1936, Alan Turing proposed Turing machine. This Turing machine that he proposed, it has infinite and unrestricted memory. Notice it has infinite as well as unrestricted memory, and that memory that Turing machine has, it's called as infinite tip. Now it's a theoretical concept, it is not a physical tip. Okay, so what Alan Turing said is, consider that this is the setup of a Turing machine. So you have infinite tip, it is infinite from both the ends. Now this tape is divided into small sections, or they are called as cells. So this tape is divided into equidistant cells, and there is one read write head or pointer which is pointing to a cell. Okay, now we have seen your PDAs. What we used to do in PDA, the auxiliary memory was separate. So stack was the auxiliary memory in PDA, and the input string it was separate. So then the input string was inserted into the auxiliary memory. This was what we used to do in PDA. However, in Turing machine, okay, input string is not separate. Input string resides within the tape. So whatever is the input string, for example, say A, B, C, this input string, it resides on the tape itself. Okay, this is one difference between the PDA and the Turing machine. So the input string, in case of PDA, it is separate, and as and when required, each input symbol is fed into the auxiliary memory, that is stack, one by one. Whereas when the problem starts in PDA, in Turing machine, the input string itself resides within the tape. So there is no separate input string. There is no separate place required for input string. Input string is placed onto the tape before the problem starts. Other cells like this cell, they are not containing any input. So whenever a cell does not contain any input, it is assumed that it contains a blank symbol. It contains a blank symbol. Okay. Now in ALC, different textbooks use different notations for blank symbol. Now if you see John Martin's textbook, it uses a standard symbol, that is triangle. This is called as blank symbol. In some books, hash is used as blank symbol. In some books, B is used for blank symbol, and in the textbook that we use, Peter Linz, he uses a rectangle like this to denote a square like this to denote the blank symbol. So any of these notations can be used. Now you are advised to use this. I am used to this particular notation, so I will be using delta. So remember, wherever you will encounter delta in the problem, you while solving, you have to replace this delta with this particular notation. This is the only change. So that means when there is no content present on the tape, then what it contains? Tape contains blank symbol, denoted with delta or denoted with square or B or hash and so on. Okay. Now, how this Turing machine works? So this read-write head at a time can read the element within a cell. Okay. It can modify the element within the cell. It can delete or overwrite the content of the cell. And after doing operation on a cell, the read-write head can move one place to the left. Okay, it can move one place to the left, it can move one place to the right, or it can remain stationary as per the algorithm that your Turing machine uses. Okay, so there are three actions that read-write head can perform after reading the input, the symbol on the tape. Okay, now since it is a read-write head, after reading it can modify the symbol on the tape, it can delete the symbol on the tape, it can keep the symbol as it is on the tape, and after doing these changes or keeping it as it is, the read-write head can move one place to the left, one place to the right, or it can even remain stationary. Okay, depending on your algorithm. Now, the Turing machines are capable of doing everything that computers can do. Okay. There are problems that cannot be solved by Turing machine, and such problems are beyond the theoretical limits of computation. This same model of Turing machine, okay, which was actually the hypothetical machine of modern day computer, was used by von Neumann and came up with an architecture of modern day PC. Okay, so Turing machine is basically, you can say, it's a theoretical working model of a modern day computer. That's a Turing machine. That's a power of Turing machine. Okay, now let us go to formal definition of Turing machine. As we have seen in PDA, here also there are 7 tuples. Okay, Q is finite set of states in the Turing machine. Sigma is the input alphabet. Okay, Q naught, which belongs to Q, is a start symbol. Now Turing machine, it uses a term called as halt or halting. Okay, now Turing machine can halt in two ways. Either it accepts the input and halts. So in that case we say HA, that means Turing machine accepts the given input string and halts. So this is called as accept state or halting state. In the second case, Turing machine can also reject an input and then halts. So I call it as HR, or it is also called as reject state. So this is called as accept state, the other one is called as reject state. Okay, so HA is the halting state, accepting halting state. Tau is the tape symbol. Now very important, if you see the tape of the Turing machine, this is an example of a Turing machine that I have taken. These other cells, they have blank symbols. Only this is W, this is a string, this is a valid string which is inserted on the tape. The rest other cells are all blank, denoted by the blank symbol. Initially the input pointer is pointing to the leftmost side of the Turing machine. Okay, now you see, if what is input alphabet? Okay, input alphabet is nothing but in this alphabet set. Okay, you see the string is either composed of A's or B's. Okay, so this is that sigma. Okay, this string W is formed out of sigma or the input alphabet. Whereas if you ask me what are the different symbols on the tape, then you will definitely see that apart from this string W, there are also blank symbols. Okay, so that is actually tape alphabet. Tape alphabet is all the alphabet possible symbols which are present on tape, which is nothing but input alphabet union with one extra alphabet that is called as delta. So input alphabet union with the blank symbol is the total symbols which are present on the tape. So at any point of time, the tape of Turing machine will have the input alphabets, plus it will also have blank symbols. Together they are called as tape alphabet or tape symbol. Okay, we have already discussed B is the blank symbol. Okay, B is a notation for blank symbol. Okay, but blank symbol can be written with B, delta, hash, or sometimes especially in your book Peter Linz, it is denoted with a square. Okay, So these are the things. Okay, and del is basically called as a transition function of the type. Now have a careful look at the transition function of the Turing machine. Okay, it is a cross product of q cross tau. That means the transition is a cross product of the state versus the tape symbol. Okay, it means from a particular state. Okay, Turing machine will also have something called a state. Now, so from a particular state, if you are in a particular state, then it will say, okay, what is that current input symbol, or what is that current tape symbol? I'm sorry, what is that current tape symbol to which read write head is pointing? Okay, and based on what is the current state and what is the current tape symbol that read write head is reading, based on these two, the decision to make a transition will form. Okay, so decision for transition, it depends on two factors. One is what is the current state, and second one is what is the current tape alphabet that is being read by read write head. Now after reading these two things, that is what is the current state, what is the currently scanned symbol, okay, it makes the transition to a new state. So from Q0 it may go to the new state, say Q1, let's say, just an example. By doing what? Okay, it may go to the new state by altering the current input symbol or by keeping it same. So what are the operations that read write head can perform? It can read the current input symbol, and after reading it can, if required, it can delete the current input symbol, it can modify or override the current input symbol, or it can keep it as it is. Okay, and after doing that, while the transition is made, after changing or after reading and doing operation on the current input symbol, okay, the read write head then moves to the next input symbol on the tape. Okay, so that is this. Okay, so based on what is the current state and based on what is the input symbol that is currently read, okay, transition is performed, machine moves to a new state. Okay, and while moving to the new state, what is the operation that is performed on the tape? The current input symbol here, it may be read and then modified if required, it may be read and then deleted if required, it may be read and it may be copied and so on. Okay, so that operation can be done on this input symbol, or it can be just read and kept unaltered, and after doing that the read write head moves to the next input symbol. Okay, and this is that next input symbol. Now again I tell you, read write head when it moves, okay, it is not compulsory that it will move one place to the right only every time. Okay, so after reading and performing operation on, see earlier the read write head was pointing here, correct? So after reading the current input symbol on the tape and after doing the operation, let's say it just keeps it as it is, the symbol is kept as it is, the read write head now have an option of remaining stationary here only, or moving one place to the right and reading the next input symbol, or moving one place to the left and reading the previous input symbol. Okay, so it can remain stationary, it can move one place to the right, or it can move one place to the left based on your algorithm, based on the algorithm that you are going to design. Fine. So read write head can just go on reading one symbol at a time and just go on moving to the right, or it can read one input symbol and go on moving to the left, or if required it can remain stationary also. So these are the three L, R, S are nothing but they are the movements of the read write head. L is the left move, R is the right move, S is the stationary move. So transition function of Turing machine is of type Q cross tau, that is it is a cross product between what is the current state and what is the current input symbol on the tape, right? And based on these two, it moves to the new state, okay, by doing changes to the current cell of the tape, and pointer moves either one place to the left, or it moves one place to the right, or it remains stationary, and tau is the next input symbol that is read on the tape. Okay, in this problem we are asked to design a Turing machine to accept set of strings that contain at least a pair of zeros. Okay, now one thing is very clear here, okay, that the strings the string that we have is of zeros and ones. So let us consider one valid string. For example, say 10 10 0 1. Suppose this is the input string. Okay. Now I will first show you graphically, and as I do it, we will also see a Turing machine that is being designed. Okay. So in the initial setup, this is your Turing machine. This is the tape of the Turing machine, and I will insert the input, that is 1 0 1 0 0 1. This is the input string. Okay, there is delta over here and there is delta over here. Okay, that means these cells are blank, and you need not show other cells. Okay, you can just show these two cells. Okay, so what I do, initially I take one valid input string and I insert it onto the tape. All other cells are marked with delta or blank symbol. If this is the input string W, then the read write head initially will always point to the cell one place to the left of the input string. This is the input string, this is one place left of the input string. Okay, and initially the machine will be in Q0 state. Okay, so how we will work, I'll tell you. So I will just draw the Turing machine simultaneously here. Okay. Okay, I will draw the Turing machine simultaneously here. So this is, let's say, Q0 is the initial state. Now what it will do, initially when delta is read as input, okay, in Q0 state, when delta is read as input, okay, since we don't have to do anything, okay, if I want to say delta is kept as it is, we say that initially in state Q0, when delta is read as the input, delta will be replaced with itself. That means this cell element will be unchanged. Okay, so initially when Q0, when we are in state Q0, when delta is read, okay, delta will be replaced with itself and pointer moves one place to the right. Okay, pointer moves one place to the right, and from idle state, that is Q0, I move to Q1 state. So the same thing I will do here. So initially I was in Q0 state. So now what I will do, when delta is read as a current input symbol on the tape, what we do, we replace delta with itself and pointer moves one place to the right. So this is how transitions are written for the Turing machine, and by doing that I will go to state Q1. Okay, so the transition of the Turing machine is written like this. Before slash, what do you write? What is the current input symbol that is read on the tape? After slash, you write two parameters. The first parameter tells you what is that change or what is that modification that you have done to this symbol that was read. Now when I write delta again here, it means earlier it was delta, and after reading it was kept as delta. That means there is no modification made. And the third parameter here, it tells you after doing these changes where the input pointer went. So it went one place to the right. Okay, so this first step, this will be mostly common for all the Turing machines. Now, in this problem, if there is at least one pair of zeros, then the string should be accepted. Fine. So what I will do, okay, I will design it like this. So initially Q1 will be a stage wherein any number of ones which are coming, it will just go on accepting. Okay, Q1 state, we are going to just go on accepting number of ones. Now from Q1 state, it will move to Q2 state when the first zero in the pair is encountered. Okay, which means Q2 is a state wherein the probability of you getting the answer is high. That means, see, in Q1 there is absolutely no hope that the string can be accepted because we have not yet found any number of ones. Now from Q1 state, when the machine will move to Q2 state? Machine will move to Q2 state, okay, when at least 1 0 has been read. Okay, when at least 1 0 has been read. Now reading 1 0, it heightens your probability of success, because once you get 1 0, now there is a probability that immediately next you will get another 0 and you will go to the accepting state, right? So Q1 is a no probability state, where there is no probability because you have not even got a single 0. You are waiting for a pair. Q2 is a state when after encountering the first 0, now the probability is very high that the next element encountered will be 0 and the string will be accepted. So this is high probability, this is no probability state. And Q3 will be a state wherein you have got pair of zeros, right? So based on this, now since 1 is encountered in Q1 state, when 1 is encountered, okay, what I will do, I will replace 1 with, okay, now before I do this, see what we are interested in is, okay, we are interested in getting the final solution. We are interested in knowing whether the string is accepted or rejected. So basically we are interested to know whether we go to the final state or we don't go to final state. Now after getting the answer, are we interested in reading? Are we interested in remembering what was the string that was given to the Turing machine, that was fed on the Turing machine? If we are not interested in remembering what was the input string which was given initially, if we are not interested, then you can just go on reading every symbol, and after reading a symbol you can just wipe, the element in the cell. So as you go on reading the elements, you will see that you also wipe the content. But there is another approach. Okay, I will first show the approach wherein as I go on reading, I will just go on wiping also the elements on the string. And wiping means what? For example, if I say in Q1 state when 1 is read, 1 will be replaced with delta. It means that earlier there was 1 here, now it is replaced with delta. That means this cell which contained 1 earlier, now it is cleared. And clearing means inserting delta. Okay. So since I have got 1, I will be remaining in Q1 state only. Okay. So in Q1 state, okay, when 1 is encountered, I will replace 1 with delta. That means I am clearing the cell containing 1 and the pointer will go to the right. Okay. So in Q1 state, what I will do? 1, okay, this 1 that is encountered, I will be replacing it with delta. That means I delete this one and pointer moves 1 place to the right. Okay, and you are still in Q1 because so far you have not encountered 0. Okay, so it can so happen that there are number of 1s. For all number of 1s that you encounter, you always remain in Q1, which is a no probability state. Now in Q1 state, finally when you get the first 0, yes, when you get the first 0, that means what you will do? You will immediately go to the next state, Q2, because you have a probability now that the next element also will be 0 and you will get a pair of 0. So in Q1 state, okay, in Q1 state, when 0 is encountered, what I will do? I will replace this 0, again I will erase that 0. I replace 0 with delta and the pointer will again move 1 place to the right. Pointer will move 1 place to the right, and since I have just encountered the first 0 and there is probability that the next element will be also 0, I go to that probability state, that is Q2. So the same thing I will write here. In Q1 state, when first 0 is encountered, 0 will be replaced with delta. That means I will wipe that 0 on the tape and the pointer moves 1 place to the right and I go to Q2. Now it is very important. So you have got the first 0 over here. Okay, after reading this one, you just read this 0 and the probability was very high that the next element is also 0 and you go to accepting state. But now in Q2 state, when you read the next symbol, what do you get? You get 1. That means, oh, the next element is not a pair element. Okay. So in Q2 state, if the next element is 1, okay, that means there is no pair. So you come back to state Q1. Okay, so in Q2 state, when 1 is encountered, what I will do? I will replace 1 with itself. I will replace 1 with delta. Pointer will also move one place to the right. Pointer will move one place to the right. But from a probability state, I have to now come back to which state? No probability state. There was a probability because we had just found one 0 and we were expecting another 0 to form a pair. But after reading that first 0, now we have just read 1. That means no pair involved. So from a probability state, that is Q2, I have to go back to no probability state, that is called as Q1. So from Q2, I move to which state? I move to Q1 state. The same thing I am going to draw in the diagram. When you are in Q2, okay, when next element encountered is 1, I do what? I replace 1 with itself. Since you are coming back to Q1 state, I will write it this way. Okay, from Q2 state, if the next element, after reading the first 0, the next element is 1, then you replace 1 with delta and pointer again move to the right, but you come back to which state? Q1 state. Okay, so from Q2 I move to Q1 state after replacing 1 with the delta. I still moved further, okay, but from Q2 state I came back to Q1 state. From probability state I went to no probability state. Again, you are now in Q1 state. In Q1 state, when 0 is encountered as the current input symbol, in Q1 state, when 0 is encountered as the current input symbol, what I will do? I will replace 0 with delta. That means I will wipe that 0, and yes, again there is a probability, there is a high probability the next element could be 0. So this 0 which I have encountered, I will replace it with delta, I will wipe it and I will move to the right, and from a no probability state I will go to the probability state. Okay, so in Q1 state, I am in Q1 state now. When 0 is encountered, I will do what? I will replace this 0 with delta. Fine. In Q1 state, when the first 0 is encountered, I will replace this 0 with delta and pointer will move one place to the right. So from here the pointer will move to the next. Pointer will move one place to the right. Fine. And you will move to a probability state, because now see 1 0 you have already encountered and there is probability that another element also could be 0. So from no probability state Q1 I have moved to Q2 state. So in Q1 when 0 is encountered, I wipe it out and I move to the right, go to Q2 state. Now in Q2 state, this was already 0. Now what happens? If the next element is also 0, that means one pair of zeros have been received, right? So in Q2 state, after reading 1 0, if you get another 0 in Q2, I will replace that 0 also with delta and pointer still moves to the right. I go to Q3, or I'll say I go to the halting state. I go to the halting state HA. Halting state HA. So what I do, when the next element is also 0, what I do, I replace this 0 with delta and the pointer moves one place to the right. Okay, and from Q2 state I go to the halting state, that is HA. Now you will say, sir, why you didn't stop? See, I did not stop because is all the cells blank? Is the entire string already read? No. I have just read 1 0 1 0 0. This one element is yet to be read. So I cannot stop. Right? Now, when you are, see, you got the first 0, you went to Q2. You got the second 0, you went to halting state. That means one pair of zeros have been received. Now further in the remaining part of the string, any combination of zeros and ones comes, you will be still remaining in the final state, halting state only, no? So in HA, then finally what I write, any more number of ones encountered, 1 will be replaced with delta, pointer will move to the right. Okay, any more number of zeros encountered, 0 will be replaced with delta, pointer will move to the right. Fine. So now see, there is 1 remaining, no? So when 1 is encountered, 1 will be replaced with delta. Okay, pointer moves to the right. 1 place to the right. And we will remain in halting state only. Okay, and finally there is nothing remaining to be read. Delta is read. Okay, so there is no transition defined for that. So when there is nothing remaining to be read, okay, you are still in the halting state. So finally, after entire string is exhausted, you see which state you are in. You are in the halting state. So you say that the string is accepted. Okay, a few things now. In this problem, after you reach the halting state, we have reached the halting state. Finally, after reaching halting state, Turing machine says that the given string is accepted. Now I ask you a question. Can you now tell me, if this was not written here, okay, can you now tell me what was the original string which was there on the tape? You can't. Why? Because the original string which was there, you have just erased the entire original string. Because in this problem, I was not required to remember the original string what it was. What I required was, I just wanted to find out whether the string is accepted or rejected, and that's why I just wiped out. As in, when I read elements, I just wiped out. So this is one method wherein you can wipe out the input. Okay, but now I'll also show you another method. You can use any one based on what kind of problem it is. Okay, another method I will show you. No major changes. I will only show small changes that you need to do in the original diagram. Okay, the string that was given to me was 10 10 0 1. This was the original string given to me. Pointer was pointing here. Okay, so what I do in the second one, in the second method that I am showing you, okay, the string will be retained in the tape. It will not be wiped out. So initially what we will do in Q0 state, initially when we are in Q0 state, this is that Q0 state, delta will be replaced with itself and pointer moves one place to the right. So in Q0 state, delta will be replaced with itself, pointer moves to the right. Okay, then you will be in Q1 state, correct? So after pointer moves to the right, you will be in the Q1 state. So this state will be Q1. Now in Q1 state, what we had done was, in Q1 state, if 1 is encountered, we were wiping out that 1 and pointer was moving to the right. Instead of wiping out, in the second method, we can retain this one. So I can simply say, when 1 is encountered in Q1 state, 1 is replaced with itself and pointer moves to the right. When I do that, that means 1 is retained. Okay, so the changes that you can do for retaining the elements of the string, I'll just overwrite here. Okay, instead of saying that 1 is replaced with delta, we can say 1 is replaced with 1 itself. So that means this 1 will stay and the pointer will move to the next element. Then after reading 0, okay, if I want to say that 0 is retained and pointer move to the right, what I will do? Here 0 in Q1 state, when 0 is encountered, I said 0 was wiped off, no? Replaced with delta. I can say 0 is replaced with itself. So when I say 0 is replaced with itself, it means 0 is untouched here and the pointer moves to the next element. Okay, then when I reach here, what we say, you are in again Q1 state, correct? You have come to, from Q2 you have moved to Q1 state. Okay, now while moving here also, see, wherever there is 1 or 0, instead of wiping, you can simply say 1 is replaced with itself or 0 is replaced with itself. Here also 1 is replaced with itself, 0 is replaced with itself. So when you are going to replace each input symbol with itself, it is as good as saying that at the end of this calculation, no doubt you will be telling your Turing machine will finally tell that this string is accepted. At the same time, on the tape, the original string that was there, it will be still present on the tape. Now you can opt for any of these methods, okay, according to your convenience and according to the problem. In this problem, we are asked to design a Turing machine to accept the context-free language L equal to 0 raised to n, 1 raised to n, such that n greater than equal to 1. As you know, we have already solved such kind of problems. The language is very simple. Number of zeros, only after all the zeros are exhausted, ones should start, and total number of zeros should be equal to total number of ones. And n should be greater than or equal to 1. That means null string should not be part of this string. Okay. Now to solve this problem, okay, what I will do, I will first show you visually what I am trying to do. Okay, I will take a valid string. Let's say this is the tape of the Turing machine. Okay, and suppose I take one valid string, say 0011 is the valid string. So I take 0011. Let's say this is the input, and other cells they contain null. Okay, the input string that we have taken is 0011. Agreed? Now, and initially the input pointer will point one place to the left of the input string. The input string starts from here. The input pointer will point to one place to the left of the string. And initially we are in which state? Initially we are in Q0 state. Fine. So what I will do, how to match? Basically equal number of zeros and ones means we have to match, correct? So if you have the string say 0011, okay, that means this 0 should match this one, and then this 1 should match this 0, correct? So what I will do, I will use a very simple technique. Okay, what I will do, see, initially your pointer will be pointing here, no? Initially your pointer will be pointing here. So in Q0 state, what I will do, delta I will replace with itself, and I will move one place to the right. Okay, so pointer will come here. Okay. Now, when first 0 is encountered, what I will do, I will replace this 0 with delta. First 0 is encountered, I will replace this 0 with delta, and the pointer is going to move one place to the right. Okay, that means I have marked here 0. Now for this 0, I have to match another 1. That, see, for first 0, I have to match the last one. So now the question is, once I have already marked the first 0, how do I move to the last element of the string and mark it? Correct? So what I will do, after marking this 0, that means after erasing this 0, okay, and after the pointer moves to the right, now on the way, no matter how many zeros and ones which are encountered on the way, I am just going to ignore them. That means 0 will be replaced with 0, pointer moves one place to the right, then again 1 will be replaced with itself, and pointer moves to the right, and this will go on till I reach end of the string. And end of the string means I will reach a state where I read delta on the cell. Okay, so first what I do, this 0, first 0 I have marked, I have replaced it with delta, that means I have erased. Then pointer moves to the right. Now on the way, any number of zeros and ones that are encountered, you simply ignore till you reach end of the string. So far we are moving to the right. Now once you reach end of the string, now you know that the last one happens to be present at the left, at the cell one place to the left of this pointer, right? So once the pointer reads delta, what I do, I replace delta with itself, and the pointer which was earlier moving to the right, I move it one place to the left. Pointer which was already earlier moving rightwards, when it reaches delta, that means end of the string, I replace delta with itself, and pointer does not go forward right, but it goes one place to the left. And now when the pointer is pointing one place to the left, let's say this is, that green color is the pointer, current pointer. Now you are very sure that this one should be the last one. So then when the pointer is pointing to the last one, this one I will be replacing it with delta. Correct? So for the first 0, I have matched it to the last 0. So I wiped the 0 with 1. Right? So after replacing that 1 with delta, what I will do, pointer will move one place to the left. And on the way, any number of zeros and ones encountered, it will simply ignore, replace them with themselves, and pointer is going to just go on moving to the left till this delta is encountered. Now when the pointer reads delta here, it means it actually started from this place. So this 0 got cancelled with this 1. So one iteration is over. So once it reads delta, delta will be replaced with itself and pointer now moves one place to the right. So it is going to now read the second 0. So when the pointer is going to move one place to the right, it is going to read the 0, the second 0. So that 0 I will replace with delta. Okay, and pointer still moves one place to the right. On the way, any number of ones and zeros encountered, it is going to ignore and it is going to move till the end is encountered, delta. So when delta is encountered, now you know the string is over. So I move one place to the left again. From this I move one place to the left again, and since 1 is encountered, this 1 will be replaced with delta, and this is how the thing is going to happen. Okay. So initially the input pointer is pointing to the cell one place to the left of the input. Okay, and initially we are in Q0 state. So let's say Q0 is the initial state. Now in initial state Q0, when delta is encountered, I will replace delta with itself, pointer moves one place to the right, and I will go to Q1 state. So in the initial state Q0, what I do, if delta is encountered with the current input symbol, delta will be replaced with itself and pointer moves one place to the right, I will go to Q1 state. Okay, so the same changes I will do here. So delta is encountered, delta will be replaced with itself, pointer moves one place to the right, pointer comes here. I am in Q1 state. Now in Q1 state, okay, when the first 0 is encountered, 0 will be replaced with delta, that means I will wipe this 0 and pointer moves to the right and I will go to Q2 state. So in Q1 state, when 0 is in Q1 state, when 0 is encountered, I will wipe that 0 and pointer moves one place to the right, I will go to Q2. So in Q1, when 0 is encountered, what I will do, I will replace 0 with delta, I will wipe that 0 and pointer moves one place to the right. Okay, and in this way I will go to which state? I will go to Q2 state. I will go to Q2 state. Okay, now in Q2 state, now I have marked the first 0. So I will just ignore whatever comes on the way till I reach delta here. Once I reach delta, I will come to know I have reached the end of the string. And then I will move one place to the left. Then I will come to know that this is that last one which has to be matched with that 0. Okay, so in Q2 state, I say on the way, if any 0 is encountered, you replace 0 with itself. Don't erase the 0 on the way. You are ignoring those zeros and ones on the way, and pointer moves to the right. Similarly, if 1 is encountered, I will replace 1 with itself, pointer moves to the right. Okay, so we are in Q2, no? 0 is encountered, so you replace 0 with itself, that means keep 0 unchanged, pointer moves to the right. Then in Q2 state, 1 is encountered. Okay, so what to do? You replace 1 with itself, pointer still moves to the right, pointer comes here. Then in Q2 state again 1 is encountered, you replace 1 with itself, pointer moves to the right, so you come here. All this while you are in which state? You are in Q2 state only. So you ignored all the inputs on the way. Now in Q2 state, finally when delta is encountered, what will happen? That means, so in Q2 state, finally when delta is encountered, I replace delta with itself. Now I will move one place to the left and I will go to Q3 state. Fine. So when delta is encountered, delta will be replaced with itself and pointer will move to the one place to the left. So far it was moving to the right. Now it will move one place to the left. And which state I will go? I will go to Q3 state. Okay, I will go to Q3 state. Yes, so in Q3 state, now the cancellation will happen. In Q3 state, if 1 is encountered, what you will do? if 1 is encountered, that means this is that last one, then 1 will be replaced with delta, because I will be wiping that 1, no? So when 1 is encountered, 1 will be replaced with delta and pointer will move one place to the left. I will go to Q4 state. So what I have done, in Q3 state, when 1 is encountered, I now know that it is that last one which has to be cancelled with the first 0. So that one I will be replacing it with delta and pointer will move one place to the left. And in this process, from Q3, I will move to which state? I will move to Q4 state. Okay, I will call this as Q4 state. Now, so for this 0, 1 has been cancelled. Now on the way in Q4, what I will do, on the way any number of 1s and 0s encountered, I will be coming back, retracing the pointer till this delta, so that the next pair can be read. So while coming back leftwards, any 0s and 1s encountered, I will be ignoring them, right? So in Q4 state, okay, on the way, if any 0s are encountered, you replace 0 with itself. Don't replace it with delta. 0 with itself, pointer moves one place to the left. Similarly, if 1 is encountered, replace 1 with itself, pointer moves to the left. Right? So while doing this, you will remain in Q4 state. So 1 will be encountered, right? 1 will be replaced with itself, pointer moves to the left. Again, in the same Q4 state, when 0 is encountered, 0 will be replaced with itself, pointer still moves to the left. Okay, and so far we are in Q4 state. So far you are in Q4 state, and finally in Q4 state, when delta is encountered, in Q4 state when delta is encountered, now you know that I have reached the place from where the cancellation actually begins. I am now going to replace delta with itself, pointer moves to the right. So this finishes one iteration. So from Q4, on reading delta, okay, delta should be replaced with itself, pointer should move to the right, and I should come back to which state? Q1, because everything started from Q1. Okay, 0 was replaced and I reached here when 1 was replaced, so I should come back here so that second iteration could easily start. So when I am in Q4, okay, when I am in Q4 and if delta is encountered in Q4, if delta is encountered, what I will do, I will replace delta with itself, and so till now your pointer is moving to the left. Now the pointer will move to the right and I go to Q1 state. So it simply means in Q4 state, when delta is encountered, delta will be replaced with itself, pointer is going to move to the right, so pointer will move one place to the right, and from Q4 state I will come to Q1 state. So this pointer won't be there. And now in Q1 state, whatever I did, the same repetition will happen. So in Q1 state, I will just show you here. In Q1 state, if 0 is encountered, that 0 will be wiped, pointer is going to move one place to the right. So in Q1 state, 0 is encountered, 0 will be wiped, and the pointer is going to move one place to the right. Okay, and you will, from Q1 you will go to Q2 state. Correct? So from Q1 you are now in Q2 state. Then in Q2 state, on the way if there is any 1s or zeros, you are going to ignore. Okay, now you will say, sir, why you are ignoring, why you are not cancelling this one? Because it is appearing immediately after 1. How the Turing machine will know that this is the last one? It may so happen that after this one there might be more ones. So Turing machine, unless it reaches the end of the string, it will not know that this is that last one which I have to cancel. And that's why, although there is one here, we in Q2 state, that one will be replaced with itself, pointer is going to move to the right, you will remain in Q2, but the pointer is going to move to the right. So in Q2, 1 will be replaced with itself and pointer is going to move to the right. We are still in which state? We are still in Q2 state. Yes? We are still in Q2 state. Yes? Now in Q2 state, when delta is encountered, what will happen? In Q2, when delta is encountered, delta will be replaced with itself, pointer moves to the left, and I will go to Q3 state. So delta will be replaced with itself, pointer moves one place to the left. So pointer will move one place to the left, pointer will come here, and from Q2 I will move to Q3 state. Yes? So this pointer is reaching here. Now Q3 is a state wherein I know that I am now pointing to the last 1. Okay, so in Q3, when that last one is encountered, that one will be replaced with delta, pointer will still move to the left. So in Q3, this last one which is encountered will be replaced with delta and pointer still moves to the left, and I will go to Q4 state. So from Q3 I will go to Q4 state. Okay. Okay, so from Q3 we are now in Q4 state. Now please note, in Q4 state, when delta is encountered, delta will be replaced with itself, pointer moves to the right. So in Q4 state now, delta is encountered, delta is replaced with itself, pointer moves to the right. Okay, and by doing that I will come to Q1 state. So I will come to Q1 state and delta will be replaced with itself, pointer moves to the right. Now what do you observe? You were here, okay, you are encountering delta here. You replace delta with itself, pointer moved to the right. So the third iteration should have started, no? And the third iteration means what? If there was third pair of A and B, then this iteration would have processed the third pair, right? But when you reach Q1, what is happening? See, there was delta, you replace delta with itself in Q1, in Q4, you move to the right. You are in Q1 now, but in Q1 state, if 0 is encountered, that means another pair of zeros and ones are there, then this iteration would start. But what is happening now? In Q1 state, the next element encountered is also delta. It means there is no pair which is left to be matched. So finally, when you are in Q1 state, okay, when in Q1 state, the next element also happens to be delta. See, from Q4, you encountered one delta, and we came to know that yes, we have reached the start of the string. When you move to the right, then also you found another delta. That means there was nothing remaining to be read, right? There was no other pair of zeros and ones that was remaining. So in Q1 statement, after reading one delta, if the next element here in Q1 state is also delta, then what to do? You replace delta with itself, and now that we have found the answer, your pointer may remain stationary, right? So delta replaced with itself and pointer remains stationary, and I go to the halting state HA. Yes, so this is the Turing machine that accepts the context-free language L equal to 0 raised to n, 1 raised to n. Now if there was a string like this given, say 0 1 0 1 0 1, you will see that the string would have got stuck in any of these stages and it would never have reached HA, which is the halt and accept state. Fine. So this is how the Turing machine is from.